Hey, welcome back to Hack a Week. I'm here today with my new 2007 Mini Cooper S. I sold the CB750, I sold my Honda Element, and I sold a Mercedes SUV that I had. Banked some of the money, took some of the money, and bought this really fun little 2007 Mini Cooper S turbocharged 172 horsepower go-kart. It's so much fun to drive, but the stereo that's in it is kind of alien looking and weird, but there is a kit available that will allow you to put a double din stereo in this thing. It takes quite a bit of work to get the thing out of the dash. I consulted a couple of YouTube videos on the subject, and today that's what we're after. We're going to change the in-dash stereo to an aftermarket stereo with XM radio capability, and well, let's go take a look at what's in here now. It's kind of crazy looking. So this is the center console. There's a bit of glare here right now because this is a concave surface. Supposed to be kind of glare free, but it's funny how it can actually be too glary sometimes. But anyway, this is the whole readout here. This is where you turn on the radio and adjust the volume. That's the CD player slot. Most of the controls for the radio are right here. These are all presets. Let's see, I'm going to turn it on here. And so you can see right now it's on CD player, and if I go to my menu, which I'm at now, I can just go, let's see, menu, and then this is a trip computer. I'm going to turn the audio off. So the trip computer here is integrated into this whole radio mess. Now the kit that I bought has blank outs for this section, and this section, because this is all part of this whole radio. You'll see when it all comes out, it looks on the back like a conventional single DIN radio chassis. What I'm after today is to see if I can keep all of this trip computer readout stuff, because this is where you reset all this. You can also get a readout for it up here by pushing on the end of this little button here on the turn signal stalk. I can change different readouts. I can see what is this here. There's my 25 mile per gallon average. That's the current mile per gallon as you're rolling down the highway. That's the average speed, and that is the current speed. And then this gets you into some other sub menus. But to reset all of those parameters like that, you can go over here and you can actually move your way through them and reset them. So average speed, I can push the button here, and then I have the option to reset it, and I can reset it. So anyway, I want to keep all that stuff. So the goal is, let's get it all out of there and then see if I can still keep this upper trip computer thing, and then we'll blank out this, and then down in this section right in here is where the double din Kenwood that I bought will go. So there is a specific order where things come apart in here. First up, right up in here, there are a couple of little plastic pieces that will pop out. There's one there and there's one over here, and then in behind here at an angle about like this is a Phillips screw. That's part of what holds the speedometer in place. And then this whole bezel will come off. These pieces right here, these plastic bits, and the one over here, they'll pop off. This is actually a secret compartment, they call it, but this piece here will pop off. This has to come loose. This has to come loose. Down here, there's a panel that has to come off. These side panels will pop off, and then we can get out all these screws and take this whole assembly out. So it's quite a procedure to get it all out. And everything is held in with T20 and T30 Torx screws. So real handy to go buy one of those that's like a proprietary one. I have some, I'll show you in a minute. So let's get started by getting up here and pulling this stuff out. Let's take a look at some of the tools I'll be using. This is a T30 Torx driver, and it's not the kind where you put it on the end of a socket or whatever. It's just like a screwdriver, but the end is a T30, and this one is a T20. I've also got a panel popper handy for popping off plastic panels. It's got a smaller version of one of those, and then this handy dandy all-around cool hook tool thing just to get behind things and be able to pop them apart. So let's see, we're going to get up here and get these two little pieces of plastic off first. One corner came out. There we go. It's got a little tab there and then a little hook down here. That's what holds it in. So both of those need to come out. Now we take the T20 and we're going to go fishing. You can't see this screw, it's kind of tricky, so you have to feel for it. There it is. Having a little magnet to fish this out of here would be handy. Here's the magnet tool. I'll just get in there and fish that out. This panel needs to come off now, this plastic panel here. The video I saw, the guy pulled the tachometer away. I think I might be able to get away with it if I just move the steering wheel down like that. This panel just pops off, so get a panel popper or whatever and reach in behind and see if you can pop it off. I'm going to grab the little hook tool I've got here and see what I can do. Pop. There we go. Oop, it says my lights are on. And you know, it doesn't have to come all the way out. It can just stay like that because all I'm after is to have access to the screws over here. Let's open the little secret compartment. This piece right here needs to come out. And it's just like the other stuff. It's got a couple of little clips on it somewhere. There it goes. Pull that out. Put it up here in the dash. Now there's a T20 right there, and there's one right there, and they hold this whole bezel on that goes around the speedometer and around the two AC vents. So I'm going to pull these two screws out. Okay, I see there's a couple more screws. Got it. There is one more T20 right up here, another one way over here. Reach through the steering wheel to get this one, and this one over here. This is a little tricky to get at. Let's see what we've got now. Should come off. There we go. Let's close this down a little bit. Pull that. Now we can disconnect the four-way flasher. And there we go. Put that aside. While we're still on this side, this piece needs to loosen up. It's not going to come off all the way, it's just going to get loosened up so that we can later get at some of this stuff. So there's a screw here that needs to come out, and then up under here there are two more. Make that three more. And now that's loose. It doesn't have to come out, it just has to be like that. Now we got to pull this panel right here. We're going to do this on both sides, but since we're over here on the passenger side, we're going to get this one first. And this also just pops off. I'm going to use the panel popper. See if I can sneak in here. Should be able to just kind of bend it and sneak it past the glove box. See these three tabs? That's what holds it in. Over on the driver's side, we have to remove this whole panel and then this panel. This one has to come off so that we can get at that other one. There's three screws here, and that panel should just come off. Just like that. It's also got those little push pins Now we take off this panel. Same procedure as the other side. There's going to be a clip right here, one in the middle, one down low. Off it comes. Now this piece right here needs to come off. The one with the start-stop button. I'm going to move the steering wheel back up. There are 2 screws on the top here. Also T20. And 2 screws underneath. That should just come out of the way. And we'll leave the cable connected, just let it stay there. Now I should be able to pull the speedometer out. Looks like it's loose up top. There's a screw right here and one here. Now let's see what we have here. Well, it feels like maybe there is another one still holding somewhere. And there's still another one underneath here somewhere holding. We'll move on to the next step. Pull and pop it off. It's just got 2 of those little tabs that hold it in place. Let's see, I'm going to get in behind like this with the hook tool. Pull that with my finger and just pull. There it goes. See the 2 tabs that hold it on. That's what you're pulling loose. Now behind that panel, the whole reason that that came off is there is a T30 right here that needs to come out, which holds on this whole front bezel. Put that in my other cup holder. There's also screws on the side of this bezel. There's 2 here. These are T20s. And we'll get the 2 on the other side. And get these 2. Now we should be able to pull this front bezel off. There's a couple clips on the top that hold it. And then and behind are some connectors. I'll see if I can get you a shot of those. There's one of the connectors. This little black tab moves out of the way, but you have to push down right behind it. It's kind of a 2-hand operation, and then it just kind of ejects itself out. Now the auxiliary input, and you may need to push in on the side of it to release it. It's got a little catch on that side. Out comes the console. Now down to the final bits here of removing all this. There's a T20 here, a T20 there, one there, and then there are 2 T30s on either side. Let's get the 2 lower ones. And the T30s that are recessed on either side. And let's see what we've got now. Almost there. Something's still hanging on. Let's see. What could that be? Okay, right here, there's a T20. Little tab there that's still hanging on. And there's probably one over here. And yes, there is, right there. And out comes the entire unit. Now there are wires on the back of here we need to disconnect. On the back of the unit here we've got one connector that goes up here into the speedometer. We have an antenna connector. This has a little push tab on it. And over here another connector similar to the other ones. It's the kind that has a lever, so you pull up on that tab and just move the lever and that's it. There it is. You can see it's a standard single DIN size. From what I can tell, the stuff in the speedometer here all that stuff I was talking about earlier can probably stay there. We'll see as we get this on the bench and take it apart further. Back to the workbench. Familiar sight to you regular viewers. There's the unit we just pulled out. This is all the goodies that I'm going to put into the car. I've got the Metra kit here that basically replaces that whole bezel, that console that we pulled out. Part number on that is 999309. I've got a Kenwood DDX373 BT. It's Bluetooth, and it has video input, so I can put a backup camera on it if I want. It will also play DVDs. Not that I would ever do that going down the highway, nor would I recommend it. Then I've got the little unit here that will keep the chimes, like when the key is left in the car or when the headlights are on, those chimes you heard earlier, they are all contained in here. So this kit will allow you to retain the chimes, and the steering wheel control kit, that allows me to utilize that steering wheel control that's off to the left side that will change channels, move the volume up and down, antenna adapter, and the Sirius XM SXV300. This is the tuner, and it will plug into the back of this unit here, which is Sirius XM ready, as it says right there. So now what we need to do is prep this whole thing for the install kit. Let's see. Looks like there's two T20s right there. Let's pull those off. There's two Phillips screws down in there. It's kind of odd. Let's leave those alone and pull these other two T20s. And there we go, the speedometer comes off. And you can see it's all blank right here. Nothing there. And the kit comes with all this blank out stuff. It even comes with blank out buttons for the different models that have different AC controls. But anyway, that would go in right there and just totally blank all this out. There we go. There's the harnesses all connected together, ready to go. This plugs into the stock harness and adapts it to the chimes, the radio, and the steering wheel control. I'm going to leave disconnected for now. I got to read up on that online, go on their site, find info for my vehicle, and do a little bit of programming. There's also a USB port on this little bastard. It's inside there. So you can update to the latest firmware. Alright, so let's get this out of the way and let's tackle the radio. Got some instructions here pretty much outlining what we just went through with the dash and all that stuff. And then it's got a few pictures of things. Figure C shows a pretty interesting little picture here. That looks like the piece that was underneath the console that I pulled out. Gets cut down to that size, so we'll have to refer back to that when it's time to put that back, because this whole kit takes everything and moves it down that way, about that much probably. Well, let's see, what's it say on here? It says to take off, well, it doesn't, it just shows a trim line, but anyway, it probably takes off about 15 to 20 millimeters and moves it down, so there's room here for a double din. So first up, we're going to put these brackets onto this piece right here. Let's get this stuff opened up. We got some plastic wings in here. This is a pretty nice kit. I used to do car stereo. I used to do a lot of things. One of them, car stereo, when I was in my mid-20s. Did that for a number of years. Whole different market back then. But anyway, as the years went by and proprietary stereos started to come in cars, that whole trade, car stereo work, radically changed. It was a whole different thing after that. All of a sudden you had to be certified to do certain stuff, and which, I don't know, some of that's got its good points and some of it's kind of like for old timers, you're like, yeah, but I know some of this stuff better than you do right out of tech school, guy. Enough ranting. So there we go. Now the stereo will drop in there. And so here I've got a bag of goodies that came with the radio, and these are the screws that go in the side here. I think I'll put this one in the middle hole up here. Maybe not. Yeah, I can reach it through this hole. There we go. All mounted up. Now we're going to take all this stuff out of here and put it in here. And we just simply load it right back in to the new bezel. We'll use the same torque screws. I like this. This feels like a command center. The console has a screw in each cup holder. It's a T30 screw. There's a T30 screw up there. And then the rear cup holder, I've already pulled it off. It's right here. It's got a T20 that's in there. You just lift the whole thing up. And then this rear section has got a couple of little plastic catches. If you just pull up, it'll pop loose, and then you can slide the whole thing back, and we'll see if I can get it back far enough without having to completely remove it. I just need a little bit of room in here to be able to tuck that whole bezel underneath there. I've lifted the console out entirely. To do that, you need to pop out the boot. It just clips in around the edges. Pop out the boot for the emergency brake. Then you pop the boot for the shift lever, and then the plastic pieces that anchor it in come off from this. That allows everything to slide right up over this, and that's out of your way. Time to connect everything up for a test run. I'm not going to button it all up. I'm just going to put it in with the connectors on everything, and then test it all out. So now with the console out of my way, this should just push right in like so, and that's where it's going to sit, right there. Okay, head unit's in and connected. Let's give that a check. Yep, looks like it's turning on just fine. AC controls are all good. Window controls, door locks. Okay, let's turn that back off. This radio comes with a hands-free mic for the Bluetooth telephone stuff, so need a place to mount that. And up here is a nice little spot right here in this vent on the overhead. It just pops off. I'm thinking I could just stick that inside there somewhere, and I'd have a nice little spot to hide it. So I think I'm going to try to put it in here and route the wire. Not sure where, probably out the back, across the headliner here, come down the pillar, and then work my way back over to the head unit. This little piece here pops out. It looks like it might have been, I don't know, maybe it was an auxiliary vent. It's probably access hole. Anyway, this comes out, and it looks like I can run a coat hanger wire behind the airbag module. And it'll come out over here in the center console, and that's where I can route the wire for the microphone, and then it can go up here and across. Let's see, I'm gonna pull the headliner down a little bit here. There's a couple of torque screws that hold this piece in, so I'm gonna pop those off right now and see what kind of access I can get up in there to get over to here. Okay, those are out. Okay, that just popped out. Yeah, that'll work. And that's probably going to have the removable little place where it says airbag right here on the inside. You have to take that off. Any place there's an airbag on cars, they cover up the screw with a little thing that says airbag. I'm not going to disconnect the airbag. I just want to get the panel off. There we go. So let's see, I'm going to take my coat hanger wire that I had in the other thing there. Let's see if I can poke that through. So let's see, to take the end of my microphone, and I'm just going to tape it up. Alright, let's see if we can pull this back through. Yes! This has some sticky back on it, so I should be able to just mount it right there, just like that. Excellent. Okay, let's put this back. Back on. There we go. Okay, back over here. I can see light through there, so I should be able to just run my microphone cable right down through there. Let's get this back on. Airbag cover back on. Now we can run the coat hanger back through here again. Same as before, just tape the end of the cable. Notice I leave this dangling rather than trying to pull it through first. Just loop the wire and pull it through. There we go. Now we're ready to put the frame back in here. Pull all the wires through here. Okay, now we are ready to start connecting up the leads for the radio. Got my cable for the auxiliary input. That's the cable I made. That goes here on the back of the unit. Plugs in there and plugs in here. So that's kind of all self-contained there. Plug in the antenna lead. The two plugs that go into the climate control. Main radio harness. I noticed on this kit there's two little tabs left over right here that bump into the back of this section. Won't let it quite go in all the way, so I'm just going to go in here with some pliers and break those two little tabs right off. Bye bye little tabs. Okay, that's a little better, and it also allows that T30 bolt that goes right there to be screwed in easier. Let's see, now we can put the speedometer back in. So plug this in. Well, that was quite an ordeal. Wow. I was really hoping I could keep that little onboard computer reset stuff going, but no big deal. Maybe I'll put an OBD gauge there, a little LCD readout. Just plugs into the OBD port. There's a few of them available. I could get boost pressure and stuff like that reading out, just to take up that space, take advantage of that area. but it looks nice. It's all blacked out. The kit's pretty good quality. The wiring is a little tricky. You got to really pay attention to the instructions. At first it might seem a little bit odd. There's some wires that aren't there, but that little chime device is what makes the accessory lead for you. These things have a battery lead. The CAN bus turns on the accessory, so only when the radio gets turned on. So that's what the job of that little bugger is to give you a 12-volt accessory lead. So all in all, pretty happy with the kit and the wiring. And well, let's fire it up one more time. There's my happy little chimes. CD player. Oh God, you know what I did? I forgot to put the XM radio module in. It's okay, I'll get to that another time. That's it for this week. Till next time.